would just like to say I've lived in the same apartment for the past 3 years, so I did it right the first time, you guys. You don't want to have to be moving every single year because that gets super expensive. So make sure you get everything you need on the first round so you don't have to do it ever again. Well, I wouldn't say ever again, but for now, like, I'm not going anywhere, so I'm happy with it. I've been putting work in, healing myself, still got room to grow. What's up, y'all? It's Sheridan here, and welcome back to another video. Before we start this video, if you could do me the favor, please like and subscribe if you are not subscribed. I make videos about moving to New York City lifestyle, financial advice in your 20s, how to be a frugal baddie, all of the above. So if you enjoy the content that I am doing, please subscribe because I will definitely be making more videos. Anyway, back to the video. What's up, you guys? This is a video about what to expect when you are looking for an apartment in New York City. These are all the documents that you will need if you're moving into an apartment. All these documents I'm going to talk about are all the documents that I had to provide moving in, except for a guarantor document. I didn't have a guarantor, and that's probably why I had to submit all these documents, just to make sure that they know I wasn't a sketchy person. But these are all the documents I had to submit, so make sure you have everything in order, because if you don't have anything in order or have all your documents together and you see an apartment that you like and you have to take the time to get it together, I promise you, you will lose the apartment because things go quick. The first document, we've already talked about this, is proof of income. They want to make sure that you have a job and you have a way of paying their rent money. So make sure you have proof of income. If you don't have proof of income, make sure you have a letter from your employer stating that you will start working at this location or at this company on X day. Make sure you have that, and that will be perfectly fine. Next thing you want to have is your tax form. So your most recent tax form that you have, they're going to want to see that. They're going to want to see how much money you made last year. So again, they want to make sure that you can afford to pay for the apartment. Things are very expensive here, especially for a landlord. Getting someone in and having to run all these background checks, credit checks, and then they see that you can't even afford to pay the apartment. Now they're going to have to find someone new. So just get everything done the first round. You have to make 40 times the rent in order to afford the apartment. So if you're moving in with other people, like for me, I moved in with 3 other people, I just needed to make 40 times the rent that I was going to be paying for. So we each paid $750, so I just needed to make sure that I made 40 times the rent of $750. If you have a guarantor, you want to make sure that you have your guarantor tax. You want to make sure that you have your guarantor's tax forms as well. Guarantors have to make 80 times the rent. So if you are moving in with 3 other people like me, the rent is $750 each. Your guarantor has to make 80 times $750. Most of the time too, if you have a guarantor, there's usually a guarantor application that you have to fill out as well. So make sure if you are in New York, if you're traveling from a different state, make sure you have, if your guarantor is like your parent, make sure you have a copy of their driver's license, maybe some of their pay stubs as well, because to fill out the application, you're going to need all that information. And then I believe you'll need their tax forms too, their last recent tax form. So make sure you have all that together. Some places too, I think they will make you pay for a background check. I think it's probably like around $75 to $100. They're going to be running your credit and making sure you're not a weirdo. So that's another expense. So make sure you have that. You're going to need first month, last month, and a security deposit, which is equivalent to rent, basically. So make sure you have enough money for rent 3 times, because that is what you are going to be submitting just right off the bat to your landlord. Yeah, it's expensive, like I said. For me, I literally had to interview with my landlord. Like I said, I didn't have a guarantor, and I was kind of like the first person moving into the apartment. I was kind of the person who was like I guess you could say like the spokesperson of like my roommates that were moving in at the time. And so my landlord literally wanted to talk to me. He like literally called me during a dentist appointment. I like was getting a crown, I think, or something, and my mouth was numb, and I literally had to take the call right then and there because he's like, I have no other time, and if you want this apartment, you're gonna talk to me. And I was like, fair enough, okay, yeah, let's do this. But I guess it went well because I got the apartment. So listen, okay, things move very quickly here. From my experience, we found an apartment that we really liked. We saw it that day. We kind of gave it a day to think about it, kind of decide, let it sink in. When we all decided, there was like 4 of us, when we all decided, okay, we're gonna move forward with this apartment, we put in all of our information, sent them the deposit, everything. We got an alert saying that someone already booked it and that we were too late for it. Things move so fast. If you see an apartment that you like, just go ahead and send your information for it, because there are a lot of bad apartments out here. So if you find one that you really like, go with it, because if you like it, chances are other people will like it, and chances are on that it will not be there the next day when you're asking to send your information for it. I don't know how things are now, but I would imagine that it's still extremely competitive to find apartments here. I'm sure there's still a lot of people trying to move to New York. Give yourself a month, no more than that, because like I said, things move fast. They're just trying to get people in, get people out. If you're looking like 3-6 months in advance, there's not going to be apartments there for you. And since it's so competitive, you really don't need to look that far in advance. I know in other different states, you're able to look at apartments, put a down payment, and it'll hold your spot. But in New York, that is just not going to cut it. There's so many people that are trying to move here that apartments are in such high demand that they're not going to wait for you. There's not like a waiting list you can do. So look for an apartment a month before, and if you see something you like, just go with it. Give them your information right then and there, because there's a good chance that even an hour later, if you wait an hour later, you could still lose it. You will also need references from your last leasing place. I had to provide that. Like I said, I think it's because I didn't have a guarantor. I had to get my last apartment that I live at to give them a good reference for me to move in. Yeah, it's a lot. What's up, you guys? It is Sheridan from the future. Well, I guess technically the present for you and the past for me. Anyway, that's not the point. I am on here to bring something to your attention. So whenever you're using an app like Street Easy, because of the Lorona that is happening in this panorama, don't want to say the real words. Anyway, there are 2 prices that are going to be listed: the net, the gross. What landlords have been doing now is been putting the net on there to kind of give people an incentive to kind of move in. It's a better price. But what they don't usually tell you is what the gross price is. So what the apartment is actually valued out before the panorama was a thing. So make sure if you are moving into an apartment, if you are thinking of staying there long term, make sure you know when the net is going to end. Is it for a couple of months? Is it for the year? And what is the actual gross price of the apartment? What is the price of the apartment that you will be paying whenever this deal that they are giving you is complete, overdone, finished? All right, could be a situation that you are signing a lease for 2 years, you're paying the net price for the first year, but you're paying the gross price for the following year, or that you just want to renew and you want to stay there for a minute, but if the gross price is some outrageous price, you're going to have to move again the next year. So make sure you ask them what is the net, how long it will last for, and then what is the gross, what is the price you will be paying after that, the real value of the apartment. Anyway, back to the present. Yeah, bye. You guys, I cannot stress this enough. I know some people can do it, but I'm a planner, so that would give me anxiety like no other. It is so important to have a job before you move to New York City, especially if you're trying to work in the music industry. It is so competitive in the city in general that unless you have connections, it's gonna take you a minute to find a job. It's gonna take you a minute to even get an interview. So you want to make sure that you have a solid source of income before you move to New York. Whether that means coming here a few months before and doing interviews or job searching, or do whatever you gotta do, but land that source of income. If you don't have that, then you're not getting approved for an apartment. That's period. I'm very used to interviewing different people, different prospects for roommates, and I hear so many people who are like, I don't have a job, but I have at least 3 months rent ready. That means absolutely nothing to me. If you do not have a job, if you do not have a solid source of income, sorry, you're not moving into my apartment. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people who feel the same, and if they don't feel the same, then I'm worried about them and how they are managing their expenses, because it's probably not good. Oh, it looks like I'm like not wearing anything, but I swear I'm wearing a shirt.